10 people who killed in self-defense. According to Reddit. Number 10. I was traveling down 277 just south of Del Rio, no more than 5 miles from the US-Mexico border. Me and all my infinite wisdom stopped to take a leak on the side of the road. As I was zipping up, I got hit over the back of the head. Apparently it was some sort of initiation deal, and it was this 17 or 18-year-old kid that hit me. He didn't even put enough oats into it, and it just dazed me and knocked me to the ground. 2 of them started to get into my truck, and 1 started to go through my pockets. I hit him with my elbow and then rolled over on top of him and found a rock about the size of a softball. I hit him in the head with it until he quit struggling. One of the others jumped out of the truck to come help his buddy. I threw the rock at him and rushed over to my driver door. I got my hand on my revolver, shot at the guy who I threw the rock at, then leveled the pistol at the guy who was sitting in my passenger seat and told him to stay there with his hands on the dash. While I was trying to find my phone, a border patrol unit showed up, and then another and another. When it was all said and done, I got off with no charge because the border patrol watched it all go down on camera. I had to go back into Del Rio and go to the hospital because I was concussed. The guy I beat with the rock died before the ambulance could get there. The guy I shot bled out on the way to the hospital, and the 3rd guy was held and then deported. The moral of the story? Don't stop to take a leak in the bar ditch 5 miles from the border at 1 a.m. Number 9. I was robbed at a gas station at knife point one night in 2015. The guy, unfortunately, was hopped up on something strong. PCP? Meth, maybe? I was standing against my car waiting on the pump. He popped out from behind it with a fairly large kitchen knife. He never even really said what it was he wanted. Wallet, keys, etc. He was just yelling incoherently. I had plenty of room to get away at that moment, but he chased me down while giving me a few slashes on the back of the arm. He cornered me against an L-shaped building across the street. Probably the most horrible experience I've ever had. I was essentially begging him to walk away. Not just because my life was in danger, but that my escape options were quickly dwindling and the only one that remained was my sidearm. Y'all out here begging people to to reconsider. Oh well. I did not want to kill a 20-something-year-old man who was clearly troubled. He had already cut me a little, and I could tell there was no reasoning with him. After several minutes of him screaming gibberish and me trying to calm him down, he suddenly started advancing.
Slap it on some toast.
I appreciate that, Jinx Jackals. I got something for ya. In my pants. I'm just kidding. It's a sidearm that I will defend us both with. Topical because of the topic of the list. Topical because of the topic. Someone punched this guy in the face. Okay, after several minutes of him screaming gibberish and me trying to calm him down, he suddenly started advancing. I yelled something to the effect of, "Stop!" Drew... And when he continued, I fired 3 times, and he was down. The gas station attendant had already called the police, but unfortunately they didn't arrive until 2 minutes after I had to pull the trigger. When they pulled up, I set my pistol down, put my hands on my head, I guess to make sure I wasn't victim number 2. Damn, how did that work? This guy must not have been black. Hi-yo, they cuffed us both, likely just procedure, But after 5 to 10 minutes, me and 2 other witnesses gave statements. They gave me my pistol back and I was free to go. I was surprised at how quickly the cops assessed the situation. Determined I was innocent and let me go, I thought I was going to jail for the night until my self-defense was proven. Or, at least, sit there answering questions for about an hour. Oh my god, is that my eyeball in my socket making all that noise? Thank god I'm not behind a live microphone. Though I suppose one of them may have gone in and seen the CCTV footage. What's odd is that I've had to take a life before. I was a security contractor in Iraq and had to defend myself and others there too, but there's something different when it just comes to a drugged up kid, or any civilian for that matter. Something eats at you those first couple of years. You constantly ask yourself if you made the right decision. I constantly wonder what would have happened if I had simply tried to run. The attacker sobered up a little, or the cops had arrived sooner with something less than lethal. All in all, I saved my own life, but taking one never feels right, or good, even when it's justified. Hashtag me and my conscience, alright? You guys know what kind of world you live in. If it isn't other people, sometimes it's you. And it's either you or them. But the most important thing here is, of course, the fact that he may have been cleared by CCTV footage at the gas station that this all originated at. So even if there's not, a life-threatening thing going on, the smartest thing you can do isn't yell for someone to call the police. It's just yell out for somebody to start recording this. You know what I mean? Because the world is a he said, she said, hashtag me too kind of place. But, if everybody's being recorded at all times, then maybe, just maybe, the truth will surface. Number 8. My God. I'm retired now, but while I was a cop, I won't get into too much detail because I don't want his family to see this or anything like that, but we had a call of a guy that got shot. The deal with the call was that he was a gang member and he lived. We had a description of the suspect vehicle with the shooter who was driving. We find the car parked and nobody is in it, but we find guns and a large amount of meth in the car. We find an ID and the guy is wanted for violent crimes, several violent crimes, and his record says that he is considered armed and dangerous and that we are to use extreme caution. Ooh. So, we are dealing with that when we see a guy walking. It's like 3 a.m. and he's walking away from us. I drive over and spotlight him. I didn't know if it was our guy or just some dude out for drinks on his way home. He looks back at me and starts running. So I chase him on foot. He stops, turns, and starts shooting at me. I remember how I was so shocked at the muzzle flash coming from his gun. So I shoot back, as well as another officer who is coming from another angle. He goes down and I get to cover. We call in the cavalry and some other officers approach. I watch as they walk up and grab his arm to put it behind his back, and it was lifeless. I remember thinking, wow, I just killed a person. He's dead. I wasn't really upset. More shocked I was not hit. For a week after that, I was sure I had to have at least a grazing wound that I didn't feel. We did the whole internal affairs thing, and I did my interview, spoke to our police union, attorney, and department psychologist, all of that. I was not upset at all, oddly. They called my fiance, my now wife, and she was woken up, told about what happened and that I was okay. She then just went back to sleep after saying, okay, good. Lol. That night I still had a shit ton of reports to do, which sucked, so I had to sit at the police department and finish them. I went home really early in the morning and couldn't sleep. My adrenaline was still pumping. I wasn't upset. I joked with other guys, and we laughed about how I was Neo from the Matrix, dodging bullets. Cops. After something like that, you get calls from everyone you know, and I couldn't talk about it as it was obviously now an IA investigation. When friends outside law enforcement heard about it, it was INBTE paper. Oh my god. Sorry, what this means to say is, when friends outside law enforcement, god damn it. When friends outside law enforcement heard about it being me in the paper, I got more and more phone calls. It felt good that people cared. I was not, and still am not, upset. Not one bit. I defended myself, and he made that choice, not me. He could have been just another piece of shit killing a young cop with a family, but this one was not, and I was glad for that. A few days later, I was at Best Buy with my fiance looking at stuff for our house we were buying, and a kid accidentally popped a balloon. That set my heart rate sky high, and I put on my gun. I popped that motherfucker, and I'm kidding. I shot another guy who pulled a gun about a year later, but he lived. He went to prison. He got out, and I ran into him all the time, as he was a career criminal too. He showed me his bullet scar once. He said he respected me, and he deserved it. Weird. The shootings don't bother me at all. The ones that have given me PTSD are the ones where fellow cops have died. I'd seen my first dead cop a few months into my career, and it woke my young 21-year-old ass up to the realities of my career. But the worst PTSD incidents for me were when kids died. I've given CPR to a baby that suffocated by his father, who slept in the bed with him and got rolled over onto. Hell no. I'd seen a dead child run over by a car. These things affected me, but they were exacerbated when my child was born. The one that still gets me every time I see a pink Razor scooter, as that's what she was riding. The sight of one makes me sweat and get angry and extremely aggressive and protective of my daughter. Ugh. Just typing this last part has sent my anxiety through the roof. I was injured at work and had to medically retire a year later. Or later in my career. I found marijuana. It helps a ton with my PTSD. Whoa, cop, that shit's not legal. You punk bitch. But I'm sure you got all the access you want and no fear of any repercussions because you're a cop and you got all kind of cop friends. Cop motherfucker. I regret anything that I ever did to my career. I was in any type of enforcement against this great plant. Oh, here we go. Yeah, good. All them niggas he put away. And now he's like, man, I see what all the fuss is about with this weed. It's delicious. I eat it. Is that how it works? Number 7. Super late, but oh well. A guy attacked me at 3 a.m. while I was walking to work. Literally barreled out of the woods and attacked me on concrete with his belt undone. He broke 3 of my ribs and dislodged a vertebrae. He broke my jaw, and I got this surge of adrenaline, and I'm so thankful for it. I tried to choke him long enough to render him unconscious, and I did. He never woke up. It still bothers me sometime nearly 10 years later. I was arrested and questioned in the hospital, uncuffed the following morning after the police obtained security camera footage. You're only a free man because that footage existed. And I've been asked before how I managed to hold the choke long enough to kill him. That's adrenaline, baby. When it kicks in, it's strong and fierce. You were a cornered animal. I forget that there's some gangster shit inside of us. I may have crushed his windpipe. Oh, I have no concept of how long the choke or even the whole situation lasted. Some shit like that happened to me. I'd want that footage, baby. I killed a man one time, and I start flicking through my phone. That's my flicking through my phone noise. And then I show them, and they're all like, "This isn't you." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's me, man. That's me. This ain't you, man." Crushed his windpipe, man. As we continue up to number 6, I killed 2 people. I work the night shift, so I normally get home around 1 to 1:30 a.m. Most times my mother is asleep. This time, however, I could see the living room lights on, and two big shadows were moving around in my house. This was extremely out of the ordinary, so I unclipped my Smith & Wesson, calm down there, buddy, from my holster and slowly peeked in through my window. There were two guys in their mid-40s in the living room throwing things around and rummaging through drawers. One man had a handgun, and I figured I could wait and call the police from outside the house and keep an eye on them to make sure that they don't head for the bedrooms on the second floor. However, when I glanced to the couch, I saw my mother huddled with my 12-year-old niece, who must have been spending the night. I knew if I waited for the cops, this could go south before they got there. I was able to signal my mother to cover my niece's eyes and ears. I waited till the two men were on the far side of the room. I turned the doorknob and burst into the house with my weapon pointed at the man with the pistol. I told him in a surprisingly commanding voice to drop his weapon. "Oh, you saw a man with a gun in your house and you opened the door and was like, 'Hello, I am right here. I would like for you to do something.' Put the gun down. I have a gun too, sir. Look at me." Man, this is why everybody I play video games is fucking terrible with, okay? Because it's like, you got the opening and you out here trying to get people attention as opposed to securing that freaking kill. Then it happened. It felt like slow motion. I saw his arm start to flick upwards and I fired 3 rounds, center mass. The second man reached behind his back and I had no choice but to put 4 rounds into his ass. I'm talking about plap plap, baby. What I can tell you is that it's not like in the movies where a person dies instantly in real life. People gurgle, they cry, they ask for family members, they ask you why you did it and so on. And they deserved everything they got. Baby, is this your house? That would be me. You know what I mean? I would love to have a scene where, you know, somebody broke in and then they pull a gun on you and then you just like, and they on the ground talk about, I have a son. Oh, I'm sorry. What? They deserved it. Come on. I have a wife. Why did you do that? I was just gonna shoot you. Okay. So I shot you first, baby. Is this your house? I'm confused. I don't think you think this is your house either. You kind of throwing stuff around like you're looking for something. Surely if this was your house, you would know where you placed it. You know what I mean? Or you would be a little neater. Not make a big mess while you're looking for something. Weird. As we continue to number 5 on this, the list, excuse me, of people who killed in self-defense. Number 5 reads as follows. I was working in a prison in the UK. While doing my daily routine of AFCs in a cell, I had the door shut. I heard the door shut, is what he means to write. I turned around sharply and 3 inmates were standing there. I knew what was going to happen. Instantly, I pushed my personal... I don't know, man. You know, I can't know everything. Instantly, I pushed my personal, and they rushed me. I shielded myself as best I could while these 3 guys wailed, punched, and kicked on me. I started fighting back and managed to catch one in the throat with a punch that crushed his windpipe. As he dropped gasping for air, the other 2 left. I should have tried to perform first aid, but I just stood there and watched him die. An investigation was launched and I had to appear in court. Nothing came of it, but I still think about it sometimes. How funny is this? Here's why this is funny. Y'all don't know anything about prison. And how could you? You know, here's hoping that your lives never take a turn where things get particularly interesting so that they can make movies and TV shows where, you know, they get it all wrong because these people don't know anything about it. But in American prison, not like prison in the UK, when shit happens and inmates die, none of this reaches, like, you know, the public, okay? There would be no court. There would be no investigation. You know what I mean? there would be a story that everybody would be fed so that they all have it right. If any questions get asked by pesky family members or some shit like that. He attacked us and we had to kill him. Oh. Even though hilariously in this situation, that's apparently exactly what happened. But differences between the UK and America. Number 4. I used to live in a particularly bad neighborhood when I was around 13 years old. It was around midnight when I heard our front door open. My mom worked nights and my dad was overseas. So I assume either my mom got sent home early or we were getting burglarized. We didn't have any guns in the house or anything really that someone could defend themselves with, so I hid in the closet in my room. After a few minutes, I heard someone open the door to my room and start rummaging through doors and such. I didn't really have anything of value, and there wasn't really anything in the house other than a really old TV that weighed upwards of 150 pounds. After throwing all the contents of my drawers onto the floor, I thought he'd be done and just leave. But I was wrong. Something about the closet called to him. I guess he came over and put a hand on the doorknob. I couldn't really think of anything else to do. So I looked around for the most viable self-defense weapon I could find, and the best I could find was a clay bowl that I made in school a few years prior. When the door opened, I swung it as hard as I could. The impact was enough to daze him and shatter my muddy bowl, but nothing else. I picked up one of the shards of the bowl and tried to use it as a sort of makeshift knife. Oh baby, you would be a star in prison. He started backing away and tripped over something on the floor. I tried to jump on him and hold him down, but I was just a scrawny kid, so it didn't really do much. He kept punching me, and in a moment of fear and adrenaline-fueled rage, I stabbed him with the shard of the bowl. I wasn't trying to kill him, but I punctured a vital artery or something. He ended up bleeding out while I was on the phone with 911. His fucking room must have been a fucking work of art. An artery, baby. It's a Tarantino film in your bedroom now, baby. Hang up the jig habit. Sorry, the police took me to the station and asked me a few questions. They called my mom to tell her what was going down. They didn't want to try me for voluntary manslaughter, but dropped the charges. Oh, they did want to try me for voluntary manslaughter, but dropped the charges after, for some reason, that wasn't disclosed to me. It really messed with my mental health. And because it was on the news and published in local newspapers, it ruined my social life for the next 5 years. You telling me that a whole bunch of girls don't want to be with a killer? That's bullshit, man. What kind of virgin town you living in? But I accepted it as part of my life and moved on. Oh boy. These poor kids, you know. If only somebody was going to help me out with Warframe, because I want to get Rhino. Yeah, I don't even know what Rhino is. Number 3. My mother was with an abusive boyfriend when I was 12. He would beat my mother and I, and threaten to shoot us if we did anything about it. One night things got serious, and I was trying to find a way out because I knew he was going to kill us, but it got too far? Yeah, he meant too far, but there's only one O. But it got too far by then, and I had no way out. In an attempt to save myself and my mother, I shot him. Where did the gun come from? He died soon after that. I believed that I had done no wrong, and I wouldn't face consequences for my actions. After all, he was going to kill us if I didn't. This was in the state of Ohio, though, and I ended up being sentenced to jail for 4 years. I still think about it, and it was unjust for the state to steal my childhood simply because I was trying to stay alive, but I had moved on since then and tried to do my best to make the best of my adult life. Man, this dude was a little kid and they gave him jail for 4 years. Must have been a black kid, baby. I went there. Poor Stompy, who is the user that wrote this story. Let's check out another one of Stompy's posts in a complete violation of his privacy. Looks like he posts on Halo, so here's hoping that that video game has brought him a bit of peace in his post killing a guy that nearly killed him in his mom life. Oh yeah. As we continue and finish off the final 2 on the list of 10 people who killed in self-defense, you know what I can do, honestly? You know, the reason that this is a 10 dude list is because I was trying to do something short prior to 9 o'clock, because if we tried to do a stream at 9:30 and then tried to watch an episode of Bebop, man, you know, we'd be in bed. Well, again, it wouldn't be something that could appeal to most people, because people got shit to do. But what I will do is endeavor to retrieve some of the deleted entries from this post, of which there are many, as you guys saw earlier. 7 and 8 are deleted, 10 was deleted. So let's just try to get a couple. I see a comment here from someone that says you should have sucked the dick for free. Who knows what this guy's talking about? Rhea says, I would be mad if someone died before me getting to the bottom of why they would ask me why I shot them for breaking into my house. I like the idea, like, getting to the bottom. I love it. Like, Rhea's just like, let me tell you something. And then they die in the... You breaking into my damn house? Let me get to the bottom of this. Like, you better not die before I get to the bottom. Okay. I'm at the top right now. Okay. Oh my god. Oh man. Wait, why isn't I'll just have Rhea do it. How does that work? Is this not how this works? What is it? What is block? No, not that. Report? No, not that. How about if I just write mod and then Rhea_radical. Is that how it works?
You have added Rhea Radical as moderator of the channel.
Pretty dope, pretty dope. So that's all you gotta do. Wow, simple as that. Wow. Is that just Champagne? Who's an idiot? What? Like we can all just like ignore him. What a candy ass, you know? As we roll down though, I'm gonna try to find 1 or 2. Oh shit. Excuse me. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to kill these germs in self-defense. See what I'm talking about? Here's one that was deleted. It says, my dad's friend in his 80s was robbed by a 20-something guy that he knew and thought was his friend. They had gone to an antique show together, and this guy and his buddies knew the old dude had antiques. They broke in, beat him, tied him up. He asked to go to the bathroom, and like most old guys my dad knows probably do, he had a pistol in the bathroom. One of the 3 attackers died of GSW, of a gunshot wound. How much time did he save writing that? 1 hit, 1 superficially. The old guy died maybe a year or 2 later, pretty heartbroken at being betrayed, and how some of his carnival and depression glass was broken in the robbery. Oh, that's kind of messed up, man. Thank you, Linda, for that cheer. Why do you think the mods were such cucks that they had to remove that? Like, who the hell do the mods constantly think they are? Here's another one. We've had a major case in the UK recently where an old man managed to kill 1 of 2 robbers in his home. And whilst the authorities didn't blame him, he was only arrested as a formality. But he became a target of the traveler community, from whom the burglars come. And he couldn't return home due to constant vigils? It was an absolute shit show. That's crazy. Can you believe that? Can you believe a burglar breaking into your house and then you shooting his ass? And then like so many people are all about this asshole that they're having constant vigils at his house. Clearly gonna get revenge on your ass if they see you. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The mods out here being mega faggots. Like, I don't see why most of these need to be deleted. Here's another one. 4 of my friends were in a fraternity and lived in a house off campus on a sketchy side of town. One night they had a party with a bunch of randoms from university, and that happened to hear about it. Two partygoers got into an argument over a girl. That's so typical. No, where'd it go? Over a girl. Let's call them Steve and John. Steve caught John flirting with his girlfriend and proceeded to throw John out a first-story window. John was told to leave by my friend because they knew Steve and not John. John wanted revenge, so he returned to the house the next day, even though Steve didn't live there, because he knew that one of the roommates was a weed dealer. When John arrived, only two people were at home, the weed dealer and a repairman there to fix the window. John put a knife to the repairman's throat and threatened to kill him if the roommate didn't give him all of his drugs and money. The roommate was frozen on the staircase, so Steve tried to give him all of the drugs and money. The roommate was frozen on the staircase, so Steve tried to hurry him by pointing the knife in his direction. As soon as he lowered the knife from the man's throat, the repairman grabbed his gun from the back of his pants, put a single round point blank right through John's head. My man, my man. Holy shit. That nigga said, what your blow? You know what I'm talking about? Oh my God. A single round point blank right through John's head. No charges were filed against the repairman. Old school. Hey man, you gotta defend yourself. You know what I mean? The best way to fix something is for it not to break at all. And the repairman knew a good way to not have to repair his life is to shoot a bitch in the head. How about that? I'm kidding. Okay. Let's just see if there's anything else, since the mod's out here deleting everything. Mod's out here deleting this shit. Can't live in this world. Mod's out here deleting everything. Vanessa, I love you. Thank you for the cheer. And Nucidrol, thank you for that cheer. What a baller. What a baller. I know y'all are all like, why isn't it making noise? It's because last night I upped the amount that you need to cheer, because not last night, it was the other night when I was doing that creepy list, because I knew somebody was going to be trying to watch that and be like, why is he making all that noise? Somebody named Magrick says, someone shared an experience on Reddit a while back. It was of a man with a butcher knife that broke into their house while his parents were away. He heard the guy break in, so he told his little sister to hide. He hid with a bat and killed him by hitting him in the head. You know, I like to imagine the Super Smash Brothers noise, you know, when he hit his ass. He and his sister watched and heard him die. It really fucked him up mentally. If someone knows the link, that would be great. Crazy as hell. Here's the thing, man. We living in a different world. And I like to think that, bro, if somebody managed to literally just like pull a gun on somebody, you know, get drugged out to the point where they're violent, break in someone's house, and then you've killed them, and they're all like, they're bleeding out, they're dying now. Like, there are two types of people in my head, okay? There's the type of person that's like, oh my God, we can't watch this, we have to go. The type of asshole who, like, when you're videotaping something, you turn the camera away. Fuck that type of person, by the way. And there's me, who would be like, oh my God, this is so traumatizing. And then you hear like the little recording noise from the iPhone, pling, pling, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna get all the karma on watch people die. And then I'd have to narrate the video too. Hello, watch people die. My name is Kyle. I've just apprehended.
I'm gonna wreck that tip jar.
Damn, Nussie Drill said he gonna wreck that tip jar. Man, that was like a double sploosh out of the tip jar. You almost halved the amount of cheers in that jar. You could say that you pulled an erotic Thanos. Okay, I'm done with my dumb anecdote. We might as well destroy the rest of this list of 10 people who killed in self-defense by reading the remaining 2. You know, I've posted this before in another thread, so my apologies if it sounds familiar. I'd been kickboxing competitively for around 10 years prior to this incident. I had broken my arm and had a newborn child. I had one arm in a sling and the baby in a carrier that was in my other hand. A guy must have thought that I looked like an easy target, pulled a knife on me, and while I was walking through a relatively quiet alley connecting 2 streets, my only thought was of the baby. So I kicked the guy in the thigh hard. He fell over and I followed it up with a roundhouse to the side of his head. Only issue was that he had fallen next to a bollard, and when I kicked him, his head smashed into it. Motherfucker. I don't think I'll ever forget the noise that I heard when he hit the bollard, and I'll never forget it. I was charged with manslaughter, but the charges were ultimately dropped due to the fact that I had my child. The attacker was armed and I had no prior convictions. I still feel absolutely dreadful about what happened, but if I could go back and change it. She says she would go back and change it. Fuck this guy. Attacking a woman with her arm in a sling and a baby? What's wrong with these people? It's not even about the fact that some people aren't even out for people's lives. They just want money, and you know, they in their minds they have nothing to lose. Like, you're screwing up a person, not just right now as you're stealing something that doesn't belong to them, but you're mentally scarring them for life. Fuck you for that. Maybe you do deserve to lose your life for that, you piece of shit. The woman says even though she would change it if she could go back, what's done is done and she'll never forget it. My God. Jinx, I love you. Nussie Drull, you're a badass. And, you know, I love you, Vanessa. Charlotte's like, Kyle has talked about his fantasies of making it big on WorldStar several times now. And I'd say that's an admirable ambition. I ain't trying to make it big on WorldStar. Fuck that site. I'm just saying, the bottom line is, if I'm out in public during a fight, or if somebody's bleeding out, or something crazy's happening, damn, Sedasia! Holy fuck! I love her. I love you, Sedasia. Sedasia would make me put the bottle of bleach down. The bottle of Kyle bleach. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow. Guys, as we round out this list by completing it with number 1, it reads, I was woken up by my fiance telling me that she thinks someone opened the back door, which is always locked. So I told her to lay on the floor, call 911 as I grabbed my handgun from the nightstand. As she was whispering to the operator, I could hear at least one person talking downstairs. It turns out that there were 2 people. I could hear footsteps slowly coming up the stairs. My fiance set the phone down and I told her to cover her ears. The bedroom door opened and a man was standing in the doorway with something in his hands. I later found out it was a knife. I fired 4 shots. 2 hit the man in the doorway in the chest. 1 hit the second person who was standing near the top of the stairs in the shoulder. And the 4th shattered my toilet down the hall. The police showed up soon after, and the rest of the night was mostly a blur. The guy in the doorway died there. The one I shot in the shoulder lived and was charged with his burglar buddy's death, and a host of other charges. I also remember slipping on the stairs because of the water. I was never blamed for anything. I was asked to go to the station that night and talk to them for a while, but I was able to go with my fiance and not in the back of the cop car. The 911 recording backed up my whole story. Jesus Christ, Vanessa, that scared the hell out of me. Why the hell did she was stealing Stream Boss. Vanessa's a spicy little wet taco, man. I like that girl. She's amazing. I love it. She's just like, I'll take that. Oh my God. Vanessa, what have you done? What has she had? The stream hails. The new Stream Boss. The Stream Queen. Vanessa Wessa. Bobessa Banana Fana Fofessa. Me My Mo. Stream Boss. That's her. Wow. Rhea Radical says, I support swiping Stream Boss. Oh my God. Oh no, Vanessa said, I just want to see what your goal is. Don't math. Don't do math. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't do math. Okay? It's not obvious. You guys can't do math. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. You guys can never realize my stream goal hole. Right in my stream hole. At any rate, I guess, guys, we're supposed to, oh wait, okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, I love you, I appreciate you, like the video for me, and, you know, look out for more bing bongs like this. Did you like this kind of shorter list of 10 stuff? Whatever, man. See you guys later.